AEW Collision debut is actually taking place tonight. Yes, tonight is the night, and boy, there's a lot of stuff to unpack. Mostly with Mr. her chick magnet Punk, and some of the stuff going on. Of course, CM Punk going to be involved in the Collision debut, and is supposed to be heavily involved with the show. As he is teaming with FTR against Samoa Joe and Jay White and Juice Robinson, Bullet Club Gold. But CM Punk already apparently ruffling some feathers, still having some a little bit of bad blood with not just the Elite, but also Hangman and Page. Page apparently filmed something for ESPN, and which may have gotten under some people's skin, and apparently will have a lot to get off his chest upon his return. So, oh boy, I imagine they're probably gonna try to cap it off. Although good luck trying to censor CM Punk, but I am interested to see how that happens. But I'm more so interested to see how Collision looks, the presentation of it. Will it be similar to Dynamite and or Rampage? Will it stand out completely on its own? And of course, we also have Miro and Andrade El Idolo competing, and it's going to be taking place at it's going to be starting at 8 o'clock, which is actually when this video will be uploaded. And so by the time this video will be uploaded, Collision will have started, and I will still be at work. So if it is a 2-hour show, I'll at least miss the first hour of it. But we'll catch the second hour. I'll probably go back and watch that first hour. If it is a 2-hour show, if it's a 1-hour show, then I guess I'm screwed. But I can always go and watch it. But let me know in the comments below. Do you guys actually want me to review AEW Collision's debut episode? Well, I might actually end up reviewing it. I've debated whether or not I want to review the inaugural episode. I normally don't review episodes of Wrestling TV and everything like Dynamite or Raw or SmackDown. But for the debut episode of Collision, I may or may not make an exception. So let me know in the comments below if that's something you guys would actually be interested in seeing. But next up we have champion is technically